My name is Michelle Rambaran. I have had 2 heart transplants at Toronto General Hospital. I live in Brampton and I have a 19-year-old son, and I've been married for about 22 years now. I was 29 years old when I had my son, and about 5 days after that, I had a spontaneous coronary artery dissection. I was in the ICU for about a month, and then when I finally stabilized, I was referred to Dr. Heather Ross at Toronto General Hospital. And she went over my medical condition with me, and she told me that I would need a heart transplant. I, at that point, had only spent 5 days with my son, and so hearing the news was very shocking to me. She continued to tell me that, there are no guarantees of a heart transplant, that the heart transplant is a treatment and not a cure, and because of my age, that there was a possibility that I would need more than one heart transplant. My mother had asked me if I was praying for a heart transplant, and the truth is I wasn't. I was afraid to pray for someone to die so that I could live. I didn't think that one life is more important than the other. And after just having a child, I was afraid that I was taking a heart away from a child that had 6 kids. I'm a petite person and I didn't want to do that. And so instead I chose to pray for what was best for my family. And I tried to do everything that the doctors recommended, from eating healthy, exercising, limiting my fluids. And I was good for about 2 years. And I enjoyed that time with my son. And then I started to get really sick. And I was put on a waiting list for the heart transplant. And after about 5 months, I was admitted into the hospital, and I was under the impression that I was going to get an LVAD. I was getting prepared for that surgery. I remember it was the first family day in Canada, and that night my mother had gotten a call from the hospital saying that there was a heart. I did want the heart transplant, but I couldn't stop thinking about that person and their family grieving and saying goodbye to their loved one. I did say all my goodbyes because I didn't know what to expect from the surgery and if it was going to be a success or not. I was lucky that it was a success, and I recovered really quickly after the surgery, and I was able to kind of just feel like a normal person, a normal mother with a husband, and just the regular family celebrations that you could enjoy. I was good for about 11 years, and then in 2019 I noticed that I was starting to get sick again. I was having problems breathing, climbing stairs, and then as part of one of my routine tests at Toronto General, it was discovered that I had CAV disease. CAV is a common long-term complication for heart transplant recipients, and I knew this was a possibility. But I had met so many people who had celebrated 20 years and 25 years after heart transplant, and I just assumed I was going to be one of those people. So it just felt like all those old emotions came rushing back again. I remember talking to one of my pre-heart transplant coordinators before my first heart transplant, and she had always said, it's okay to say that you want a heart transplant. I was lucky enough with my first donor that they allowed me to watch my son grow up. And now I was sick again, and my son was starting high school. And in my mind, I knew I wanted more time with my family. And so I said yes to a second heart transplant. To anyone considering having a heart transplant, this is a hard road to go through. It's not just about the surgery. There's a big emotional toll it takes on you and also on your family. I took advantage of the support that was available in the hospital, and I would definitely recommend that because, there's so much emotions that you feel. For me, there was a lot of guilt in saying that I wanted the heart transplant, and that support system really helped me through this journey. I was grateful for my donor, regardless of everything that was going on at the time, for both my donors, actually. I'm thankful for both of their decisions to be a donor and for the families who supported that decision. This year I will celebrate 5 years after my second heart transplant, and I'm grateful for the life that they have given me.